As I often remind our colleagues, and as often as we are questioned by our constituents, the Homeland Security Committee is a pivotal committee that stands in the gap of making sure that the needs of our nation, domestic needs in protecting the homeland, are the priority and recognized by the American people as having a department and a committee that is clearly assigned to protect the homeland. 9/11 continues to be a symbol for all of the untoward terrorists across and around the world. They view that as a challenge to them every year as to whether or not they can continue to intimidate the Western world and, of course, the United States of America. Our values are contrary to their beliefs, and therefore 9/11 poses for all of us a time of recognition that we still remain in the eye of the storm and we must be diligent. I would offer to say that we will not fall victim to the terrorist intent, and that is that we will not terrorize ourselves. We will be vigilant, which I believe is extremely important, but we will be fair and just, and we will recognize the civil liberties of all. But we are in some very challenging and difficult times, and so I want to thank the Chairwoman for allowing us and this committee, and working with me and the full committee, to be the very first committee that is addressing the question of ISIS here in the United States Congress upon our return. That is an important statement. For Homeland Security, Armed Services, the Intelligence Committee are the cornerstone of defending this nation, and our collaboration and working together is key, and that we are doing. This fact-finding hearing will lay the groundwork for many other hearings that will be necessary to expeditiously address this question. This evening, the President will address the nation and discuss new protocols as to how we confront ISIS, and as he has indicated, degrade and end ISIS. And so I am not willing to cede the point that ISIS does not represent a threat to the United States. I did not say imminent. I did not say today. But I believe this hearing recognizes that ISIS is a threat to the United States and to the people of the United States. Again, not in the instance of being intimidated, but being prepared to protect the people of the United States of America. Like all Americans, I was horrified, outraged, and saddened by the beheadings of two American journalists, James Foley and Stephen Sutloff, by ISIL terrorists in Syria. ISIL has used ruthless, brutal remedies and tactics to expand its control over areas of northwestern Iraq, northeastern Syria, threatening the security of both countries. They have attacked, killed, kidnapped, and displaced thousands of religious and ethnic minorities in the region, including Christians and including small ethnic minority groups. U.S. officials have warned that Syria-based terrorist extremists may also pose a direct threat to our homeland. One concern is that foreign fighters holding Western passports might travel to this country to carry out a terrorist attack. Additionally, our own U.S. citizens are known to have likewise left the United States and gone to the battlefield to perpetrate jihad. The total number of armed opposition fighters engaged with various groups in Syria, including ISIL, is estimated at between 75,000 to 110,000 persons. Of those, the U.S. government estimates 12,000 are foreign fighters. Among those foreign fighters are estimated to be more than 1,000 individuals from Europe and over 100 from the U.S., with about a dozen American fighters with ISIL specifically. We may be reminded on 9/11, the count was approximately 19, who created the most heinous terrorist act, killing over 3,000 here in the United States of America. We mourn for them and their families. Many have expressed particular concern about Western foreign fighters because they hold passports from countries that participate in the visa waiver program, which generally allows them to travel to the United States without obtaining a visa. I want assurances today that these individuals have been appropriately watch listed, and I want to discuss and look at whether or not we need to make the no-fly list more robust, and would look to the idea of legislation quickly passed that makes sure that we shore up the no-fly list, not to undermine civil liberties, but to protect the nation. I am interested in a discussion of that going forward in classified or what is available today. I would note, however, that while these visa waiver travelers usually do not need a visa to visit this country, they are currently vetted both prior to departure and upon arrival to the U.S. I expect that we will discuss that process in more detail at this hearing. Similarly, some are concerned about U.S. citizens who travel to the fight and then seek to return to the country by air. We are well aware of 2 individual suicide bombers from the United States who recently died in battle. I expect discussion today about what DHS and its federal partners can do to address such situations beyond adding individuals to the no-fly list, if and when the need arises. Indeed, the Department of Homeland Security and State play a vital role in disrupting terrorist travel to the U.S. This subcommittee has previously examined U.S. visa security and passenger pre-screening programs, which are essential to addressing the foreign fighter threat to the homeland. I hope our DHS and State Department witnesses can speak to us about how these programs operate and how they can be used to address concerns regarding the VWP travel specifically. I also hope to hear from our State Department witnesses about how we engage and how we are engaging with our foreign partners to help address information gaps regarding individuals of concern in their travel patterns. Like Chairman Miller, I am glad that Europe is standing up. I believe that they should stand up and collaborate while we maintain our values. We can secure this nation. While the U.S. cannot resolve the larger situation in Syria and Iraq in its totality, we can do it collaboratively with our Mideast allies and our Western allies. We do have the responsibility to protect the homeland from threats from ISIL and similar terrorist organizations. And be mindful, as we mourn and commemorate 9/11, be mindful of the fact that we have work to do. I therefore strongly encourage the administration and congressional leadership to ensure that all relevant committees, including Intelligence, Armed Services, and Homeland Security, are included in briefings so that they can be a collaborative strategy in conjunction with the administration, so we can work collaboratively together and address these issues. I know that our chairpersons and ranking member are prepared to do so. Finally, I look forward to the President's address to the nation tonight as he outlines his plan for combating ISIL. I remain committed to working with any of my colleagues on this committee and will look forward to the appropriate legislation that we would hope will be expedited and passed to ensure the safety and security of the homeland. It is our duty and it is our challenge. With that, I yield back the balance of my time.